You reached the milestone. You checked the box. You achieved the very thing you once prayed for. So why does it feel so empty? Why does it feel like nothing at all? There comes a point in your life, a moment of profound and quiet clarity, when the old incentives stop delivering. The goals you were chasing, the ones that once lit a fire in your soul, suddenly lose their flavor. The milestones don't bring the satisfaction you expected, the deep, fulfilling joy you were promised. The rewards, when they finally arrive, feel impossibly small compared to the mountains you had to move to earn them. And what's your first instinct in that moment of quiet disillusionment? Work harder, double down on the effort. Distract yourself with more tasks, more projects, more noise. You tell yourself that real true fulfillment is just one more achievement away, just over the next hill. But the feeling persists, doesn't it? That nagging hollow ache in your chest. It follows you into your quiet moments, a shadow that won't be ignored. Because what's missing isn't effort. It's truth, the truth about where your ambitions really came from. The truth about which desires are genuinely yours, and which ones were inherited, passed down to you like a family heirloom you never asked for. You may still be doing everything you were taught to do, following the rules, playing the game exactly as it was laid out for you. But something essential, something vital, feels absent. That absence is not a sign of weakness. It's not a failure on your part. It is awareness. A profound, soul-stirring awareness that the blueprint you were handed, the map to success you were told to follow, can only take you so far. At some point you begin to notice where your beliefs came from, tracing them back to their source. You see where your limits were inherited instead of chosen, where the boundaries of your world were drawn by someone else's hand. You start to feel where your raw, powerful instincts were softened, dulled, and sanded down to make you easier to manage, easier to predict, easier to fit into a pre-made box. This awakening, this dawning awareness doesn't shatter your world immediately. It's not a violent explosion. It's more like a slow sunrise, gradually illuminating what was always there. It simply makes your inner world visible. And once it's visible, it can no longer operate in the shadows. The old patterns, the old programming, lose their power over you because you can see them for what they are. You begin to see with startling clarity how often you were encouraged to settle for less than you were capable of. How often comfort and security were praised more than raw, unapologetic honesty. You see the countless times you traded your authenticity for a little bit of approval, a pat on the back, a sense of belonging. You silence the inconvenient parts of yourself to be accepted. But this recognition is not a rebellion. It is not an escape. It is not an act of anger or resentment toward those who taught you. It's a quiet, firm internal decision to stop abandoning yourself, to stop leaving the most essential parts of your being behind in the pursuit of something that was never truly meant for you. This journey of questioning isn't about blaming the world or the people who raised you. It's about taking radical responsibility for your own inner landscape. It's about understanding that everyone was doing the best they could with the awareness they had at the time. Their map was their truth, but their map is not your territory. You're beginning to understand that the world you perceive is a reflection of the consciousness you hold. And as your consciousness expands, the world you experience must transform along with it. This process feels like remembering a language you once knew fluently, but have long forgotten. The words, the feelings, the deep inner knowings start to surface, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in waves of emotion. You might find yourself drawn to silence, to nature, to art, anything that reconnects you to that deeper, quieter part of yourself. The part that was there before the world told you who you should be. You start to disentangle your own energy from the energy of others. You learn to discern what feels true in your body, in your soul, versus what you've been conditioned to believe is true. This is the work of a lifetime, not a weekend. It requires patience, compassion for yourself, and a willingness to sit in the discomfort of the unknown. It means letting go of the need for certainty, for a clear path forward, and instead learning to trust the subtle guidance of your own intuition. The universe isn't testing you, it's inviting you. It's asking you to shed the skins that are no longer yours, to step out of the roles that have become too small. It's a call to return home to your own sovereign being, to reclaim the power you gave away, and to create a life that is a true and honest expression of who you really are. The emptiness you felt wasn't a void to be filled with more things, more achievements. It was a sacred space being cleared out to make room for your real self to emerge. So you stand at this crossroads, this pivotal moment of your existence. One path leads back to the familiar, the known, the comfortable sleep of conformity. The other path, the one that's calling to you, leads into the mystery, into the heart of your own becoming. It is a path of integration, where you don't discard your past, but understand it, where you don't fight the darkness, but learn from it. You begin to see your life not as a series of random events, but as a curriculum perfectly designed for your soul's evolution. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every moment of despair was a lesson, a pointer, a guide leading you back to this exact moment of awakening. The goal is no longer to arrive at a destination, but to be fully present on the journey. The prize is not a trophy, but the richness of your own conscious experience. You are not just a human being having a spiritual experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience, learning to navigate this physical reality with an awakened heart and a conscious mind. And this is where the real adventure begins. It's the process of unlearning, unbecoming, and remembering the magnificent, limitless being you have always been, underneath all the layers of conditioning. The emptiness isn't a void. It's a signal, not that you failed, but that you have outgrown the structure you were taught to chase. And that realization is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a different one, a truer one. You're one. Follow for more.